Hi everyone, this is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is the weekly, so this is for the underpinning energy from Sunday the 17th through Saturday the 23rd of July. It is not solely set for that date. If you are watching it at a different time and the reading makes sense to a situation you're dealing with, please by all means use it. It is a broad spectrum reading, so it's for everyone, all signs, and if it doesn't match up with you, like if you're, doesn't make sense to whatever you're dealing with in your life, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're just wrong or broken. It just means that you might be working on something different at this time. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath the video. In there is just some housekeeping rules, where to support the channel, what decks I'm using, how to contact me on social media for a private reading, all of that stuff. So I'm filming this really late because I've not been feeling well today, so I don't know how this reading is going to come out. It's now like 8 p.m. And so it's really late for me to be filming this, but I need to get it done. So bear with me, guys. Each card is going to represent for a day of the week, a day or two of the week. So some of you might experience this stuff as I talk about it, but you also might experience other stuff. Or only one of these cards may make sense to your week. It's really dependent on what works. It's basically like take what you need and leave the rest. Alright, so let's get into this. Sorry guys, I'm really not feeling well. Okay. So our first card is that damn Seven of Swords. We saw him last week at the end of the week in the underpinning energy, so we're still dealing with maybe some sort of situation that isn't necessarily being honest up front or true in a sense, right? The Seven of Swords always indicates somebody or something maybe not being honest, right? It's the liar, cheater, stealer card. Like either we're lying to ourselves in a situation or somebody's lying to us. The situation's not sufficing in the way that we want. Sevens are about making a conscious change or choice. So through making that choice, you make that change, right? So we might be looking at something that's difficult in the early part of the week or challenging, coming from, an outside influence, or it might be within us internally, but it's like we can't deny it is my feeling. We're going to have to look at it, especially since we saw this at the end of last week's underpinning energy, and now we're seeing it again here in this week's card. Feels like whatever we're struggling with or dealing with, it could be hanging on for a little while in the early part of this week. Let's see what the midweek card is. The midweek card is the King of Cups, and it's compassion, advice, and what the hell? Balance. I couldn't even read that. Jesus, I don't feel right today. I love that the King of Cups is represented by an owl, right? Because owls are, to me, always indicate wisdom or knowledge. Cups is that element of the emotion. So ideally, we should settle into how we feel by the midweek and have some semblance of like kind of control over our feelings, some clarity, again, like with this owl, some wisdom as to maybe what next steps need to be taken or what next actions need to kind of take place so that we can move forward, right? This owl looks, I gotta say, he looks a little pissed, which is not necessarily a King of Cups meaning, right? But I kind of feel like whatever this Seven of Swords situation is that we're dealing with, and each one of you might be dealing with a challenging situation in a different area of your life, by the midweek, we've sort of, my feeling is we're gonna have control over how we feel about it at least, and then be able to make decisions that are hopefully based in compassion and love, either whether it's towards ourselves or towards the situation or the other person, that hopefully, releases us or separates us, right? In a way that feels sound emotionally, right? Or clean, or clear, if that makes sense. Now, let's look at the end of the week card. Okay, we have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords is travel, transition, and moving. Interesting that it's depicted by a dancing woman. The Six of Swords, to me, Usually it's about moving to calmer waters, like, you know, easing out a situation or finding some peace within a situation. Sixes are about balance. And the Six of Swords is traditionally depicted by a family in a boat moving to like a different perspective, communication, thoughts, or ideas. Because this is a Swords card, we might gain the opportunity to have a better perception, especially with the King of Cups in the midweek, how we feel about a situation that maybe has been challenging is going to shift in the midweek, and then we will be able to move forward, hopefully with clearer communication, better boundaries, better expectations of what we need or the situation we need or require. And I like that in a sense she's dancing, like there might be a little bit of joy or freedom at the end of this week that allows us to celebrate a little bit while we move, you know, through whatever it is that we're dealing with or challenged by. God, it feels so hot. Oh. All right, so here is the White Light Oracle. It's the card number 9, Dakini of Infinite Light. Interesting, we've not seen her. I like that she's sort of touching the sun above her. She's kind of connected to her higher self, in my opinion. Nines are about personal completions with a situation or coming to terms with a situation for ourselves. And it's interesting to me, she's kind of turning away from all of this in the card. So it almost looks like we might find ourselves, how do I want to say this? In an effort to reach our higher wisdom or our higher knowledge and maybe create some space between us in a situation that isn't necessarily, I don't know if beneficial is the right word, but it's not necessarily treating us the way that we expect or deserve or desire. I feel like this card is sort of like turning ourselves away from the drama, not necessarily buying into it, not necessarily allowing ourselves to sink to its level, okay? Let's read this card and see what is going on here, because this card is new to us. The Dakini of Infinite Light. Seek and you shall find. Find the teachers and teachings which feel pure to your heart. That would be the King of Cups in the midweek. But remember, it is the inner truth of you that will ultimately set you free. Do not give your power away, but do trust in a greater guiding wisdom at work in all aspects of your life. Ask for help from enlightened spiritual beings in any matter of concern, and help shall be granted. Believe all problems can be resolved, and a more graceful life experience is opening up for you now. A Dakini is a supernatural feminine being who inspires spiritual practice, guides one to actualize siddhis or spiritual abilities, and teaches the inner path of awakening. She protects us from negativities and restores our vital energies. She teaches us how to act with wisdom. She can be a demanding teacher, requiring to reflect upon the mysteries she presents through our dreams, inspirations, and meditations, then proceed to unravel them. As we do so, we develop our inner capacities and become stronger. These wild feminine creatures can be gentle or fierce, or a combination of both. When she appears in a reading, travel your path and explore your questions about spirituality and awakening with confidence, for much progress can be made as you do so. Some Dakinis are fully enlightened, whilst others are still in their process of awakening. Truly enlightened beings have the ability and desire to assist all other beings to enlightenment. They know how to lead us along the path because they have walked it before us. Beings of lesser development may or may not have such helpful intentions, but even if they do, how can they show us the way when they themselves have yet to discover it? Truly enlightened beings can and do help us in many ways, from solving problems we encounter in our daily lives to ensuring we are taking the most beneficial steps on our spiritual path. They are our spiritual family, guiding and assisting us from a place of love and skillfulness. The Dakini of Infinite Light, Marichi, is one such being. Marichi is connected with the rays of light from the sun. She is sovereign over all lesser beings. Her many gifts include the capacity to guide one into enlightenment, to heal and repair that which has been separated or broken, and to provide protection during vulnerable transitions whenever we venture beyond known worlds, and also from misfortune and negativities of all kind, including being manipulated, controlled, or exploited. That is the Seven of Swords energy in the beginning of the week that we also saw in last week's reading. She resonates with material abundance too and is associated with providing the prosperity we need to live a happy, long life and make progress on the spiritual path. This divine goddess is of the sun brings light on all levels. We need light to see clearly, otherwise we feel confused as to which steps, if any, to take. This is just as true on emotional and psychological levels as it is on the physical. Light helps us see what is happening rather than making assumptions. When we see what is happening clearly, we have the opportunity to make the best choices. The oracle of the Dakini of infinite light augurs an increase of light in your life. This can include a lightening up after a difficult time, an increase of clarity from a helpful, healing, and higher perspective, or a clear, positive path opening up through a troublesome time. Her appearance signifies sacred victory. Call upon her and do not give up. The healing process. Begin your practice by consciously connecting with your breath. Take in a deep breath and then exhale fully, as though you are cleaning out stale energies from within and purifying yourself. Repeat that 3 times. Place a hand on your heart and slowly say, Moom. As you do so, sense a beautiful light, like a radiant spiritual sun glowing in your heart. As you continue to make this sound, light fills you and the space around you. It then reaches out into all dimensions, delivering light to all beings in need. Relax into the sound and light. Repeat this step 3 times. Next, say the following mantra out loud as many times as you wish. It is recommended that it be at least 7 times. Om Maritse Mum Swaha. Swaha. Okay. As you repeat the mantra, sense yourself as a golden treasure vase. As a golden treasure vase, filling up and glowing with abundant healing and empowering light, which benefits all beings. Then rest, contemplating the beautiful light within you and all around you. When you're ready, ground yourself and hydrate. You have completed your healing process. So I feel like, especially with the 6 of Swords at the end of this, and this Dakini of Light Oracle, that this is the week to kind of shift whatever we are dealing with that challenges us, right? This is the week where we might be having a bit of a rough time with it in the beginning of the week, but towards the midweek and the weeks at the end of the week, we definitely have found a new way to relate either emotionally or verbally, communication-wise, to a situation that has been in our way, bothering us, holding us back, slowing us down, lying to us, whatever. It's an opportunity for us to sort of transcend it and to connect to our higher self and our own internal wisdom and then be released from it. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense. So for those of you that might be struggling, if the full moon was challenging for you, then this is the opportunity this week, it feels like to me when I look at these cards, to sort of turn in a different direction, reestablish your boundaries or your balance, especially emotionally, with that King of Cups in the midweek, and then being able to kind of communicate, indicate through your thoughts and your speech or your ideas how to get, I don't know, I don't want to say away, because it's not like we're running from something, but it does feel like we're shifting gears. We're moving towards more peace this week. That's sort of the theme that I feel like these cards are giving us. And towards the end of the week, with this dancing woman, because she does look rather joyful, she has more emotion than you would see in a traditional 6 of Swords. I feel like we might even be moving towards celebration of some sort, a freedom or a liberation, a lightness, right? Because she gives me that vibe of lightness and exuberance in a way, which is not necessarily traditional with the 6 of Swords, but with this card, I do feel like there's a certain joy, a personal joy that we might be able to relish in or experience in the last few days of this week. Now let's go to the Hidden Truth card. This is underpinning us for the entire week. I compare others to you. When I look at this, it feels like this is a situation, I'm going to just kind of put it out there, but I feel like this is a situation, whatever we're struggling with or whatever's challenging us, it may be outside of us this week. And what I mean by that is in the form of another person or situation where we're being treated unfairly or lied to outright, bamboozled. There is an opportunity here to move ourselves away from it. Certainly, I do see that with the power of the King of Cups, with the Six of Swords, and the Dakini of Light Oracle. But this, I compare others to you. It's sort of like we might be weighing this situation or person that we are challenged by to other areas of our life, and it may not actually be adding up, is my feeling. It may not actually be, how do I want to say this? I feel like there's a truth here that we're looking at this week. There's a, this, I compare others to you makes me feel like we're weighing this situation or this negative challenge against other areas of our life, and we're starting to maybe wake up and realize that either this, it can't continue on, or it needs to, we need to create some sort of change in how we interact with it so that we can move forward in freedom and joy rather than be, stuck is kind of the feeling that I'm getting, or engaging in a situation that might be, I don't know, like beneath us, or not bringing out our sort of highest self. The Dakini of Light Oracle makes me feel like there is a higher self aspect to this that we need to tap into so that we can rise above, separate, shift, and change. And so, and also seeing the Six and the Seven of Swords, that's about thoughts and communication, that swords energy. This comparing others to you also is about the weighing of that. So pay attention to what your thoughts are and what's going on around you, and then especially how you feel about it. And then try and like connect to your higher self and find a fresher perspective as you're gaining the freedom from this. I hope that makes sense, guys. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow to see how this energy builds throughout the week. It should be transformative. Have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.